Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for coming in. So we are done. I noticed there's a bunch of messages that came in last night and so forth regarding the previous submission, so I promise I'll get to all of those today. If I haven't already answered you, I will. But we have about I think we have exactly three classes left, including this one. Let me see. So we have the 26th, we have the 3rd, we have the 10th, and classes are over on the 15th. So that's it. I can accept work up until the 17th, but we basically have 1, 2, 3 classes left plus an extra week of work time, and we have 2 assignments to get through. So we have to, the hard one, not the hard one, but of the 2, the one that involves a bit more work is this cross section, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. And the other assignment we have is the elevations, which are quite a bit easier and less time consuming. Sorry, somewhere in here, lecture 13, maybe there. Elevations, so you only have 2. And this may seem like a lot of work for the elevation, but since at that point you're working on the building section and you have the floor plan, you're really just lining up where the walls are, lining up where the floor heights are, and so forth. And once you can kind of draw a cookie cutter version of the house, you kind of fill it in with hatches and windows and stuff. Yeah?
You use the section on the east side,
Also, yes. If it is identical, yes, you can absolutely mirror it and then delete parts from the inside. There's a bunch of ways to skin the cat, and there's no absolutely correct way or wrong way to do it. But I think the point that I was trying to make there is that this will be, I think, a week, us working on it for one class and then giving you a week after to finish and submit it, you will be fine. So I'm not too worried about this one. I'm not worried about any of them, but I think we do need to get to work on the cross section. We spent an extra week on the previous assignment, so we're going to have to hustle to get this one started. Also, I'll send out an announcement, but there is a short exam that we have for this class. It's a multiple choice 10-question exam. So what I think we should do is if everyone can make sure they come to the very last class. We'll do it together. I don't know if I can do it together. I'll talk to Michael, see what we're allowed to do, but we'll do it all together in one class, in the last class. And then if questions come up, I can at least be here to help you answer them. I don't think you have to go crazy studying for this. Just show up. Okay, make sure you show up and have a working knowledge of the drawings you already did. That's all. Okay, I'll walk you through the questions, and if you have any questions during the exam, I'll be as lenient as I can in giving out info throughout. Yep. I'll check. Yeah, there should be. If there isn't, I'll prepare one. I'll get you guys a review sheet, okay? Okay, so what we're doing today and for the next 2 weeks, for this class and for the 3rd, we'll be working on it in class as well, and it'll be due on the 10th, I think, is the cross section. The part that will take up the most work is this, where we're cutting through the house. And then we'll be doing a detail of a stair as it goes from one floor to the next. But once you have this developed, this will become much easier. And once you have this drawn, this is also much easier. So it's kind of one leads to the next, leads to the next. I wouldn't start them all at once. I would finish the section first and then do the stair section and then do the stair detail. That'll be the most efficient use of your time. Before we get started on this section, we need to know where we're cutting in the house. I have a partially finished drawing here, which is good enough to get going on the section, but I'm not sure if there, first of all, you need to see from the plan, the student example, which way are we cutting? Is it this way, and where in particular are you cutting through the house? We could guess it, and we may have to if it doesn't show us, but my guess is that on the plan it will show us. looks like the building section is being taken right here. This line, and then they don't draw it all the way through so it doesn't get in the way, but that's it. And I'm guessing, well, there's another section up here, go this way, so we have to see which way, is it cutting through the garage, and it looks like it is. It's probably gonna be this section. So it is cutting through the garage. Yep. It is being recorded, yeah. So this will be online right after the class. So we are cutting through the garage and through the house perpendicular. It looks like we're even getting through the fireplace. But we're not cutting the stair opening. It doesn't look like we're actually cutting through the stairs themselves. So you can see the railing in the background. So this is just the stair. You're looking at it in profile. You can't tell from this view if you're going from here up or if it's facing towards us and you're going this way or that way, but it doesn't matter. So we know the stairs are here. You can see the back or front of the stairs. We're not cutting through it. We need to get our floor levels in. We need to get the roof level in. We need to get the garage floor level in. We need to get the center in so we can get that center structural wall or load bearing, whatever that is. And then from there we can start the add detail. So the way I would start this, so if we are cutting through our fireplace, I think it's safe to assume that our section goes something like this. Okay, because we're not cutting through a bunch of little walls in the middle. If you look at this, there's not a whole bunch of walls here. We're not cutting through a washroom or anything else, which is closer to the front of the house. It looks like we're cutting through the hallway part, and I'll show you again what I mean. If you look at this drawing, we are cutting through the fireplace, we know that. And again, we didn't see these walls being cut through in that section, so we know we're behind that. But we're not cutting through the stairs, so it means somewhere in this band is our section. And we cut all the way through the garage with that. In fact, if we wanted to narrow down a bit more, we could see here for the demising wall between the house and the garage, do we cut through a door or not? That would be the last thing we need to answer before we know exactly where that section goes. And we don't. So I'll zoom in a little bit here. So this is the wall from the garage to the house, and we're just cutting through the wall and not the door. So now we can be certain that our section line is in the right place. Okay, we're cutting through this. If anything, I don't even see a step right here, concrete block beyond, so it's behind. So we could actually move this line a little bit past that stair that we have here, and that's where our line is. Okay, one last thing I guess I would check just to be thorough is, are we cutting through a window on the other side of the garage? No, we're not. Okay, so we're in the right spot. Now, what I think would make sense is I'm going to copy this, all of this, and I'm going to move it up. And then I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to rotate it negative 90 degrees, so it looks like that. And the reason I'm doing that is that now I know I'm going to basically draw a line down here and start drawing the section. But I need to know where the heck is the exterior wall, and all I have to do is strike a line from there to there, and I can trace it. And then I need to know, where does the garage start? Boom, I have another one. Where does this wall start? And I can trace that wall down. Where does the bay window, and eventually I can even fill in windows like bay windows and everything else. No, I'm not cutting for that, so I don't need that. And once we have that, we'll start drawing the lines for the basement, the ground floor, and the second floor. So what do I mean? I'll show you in a second. I'm just going to give us a bit more breathing room here and move this higher up. I'll switch to I guess I'll switch to wall exterior for now. I'm going to be using it for a bunch of things, but I'll just switch to that. So I'm going to strike a line here, a long one, and I'm just going to let that be the ground. Now I'm going to grab a line where my section line intersects the exterior wall. I'm going to draw straight down. Where my section line intersects the wall we're cutting through, I'm going to draw a line straight down again. And now I'm just going to zoom in and copy. So I'm going to grab this line, copy, and go from here to here, and everything that I cut through, I'm just going to give it a line. And so now I have 4 lines. Let me expand this a bit. So for instance, I'll hit copy again. For this wall, I already have all the layers made, so I may as well copy that as well. So every time I get an intersection, I'm going to copy another line. And I'll do the same for my garage wall. And I'll do the same for the interior face of my fireplace. So now I have a couple of lines in place. So I know that this is on the left side of the house, this is the fireplace. This is the interior wall that separates the main house from the garage. And this is the exterior wall of the garage. So I think the next, we're going to use the same strategy as with the floor plan. We're going to do the big lines first and slowly move in so we can minimize our errors. So we know we have the outside of the house correct. Now, so in other words, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit here. So what we have drawn already is we have this, we know where that is, this wall we have, and this wall we have. So next, now it would make sense for us to get the floor datum lines in. I want to see where the ground level is. In fact, whatever line we've drawn, we'll call that ground level. We'll offset down to the basement, offset here, offset up, and we may even try to find the peak of the roof. So I need to find these datum lines. Not quite. Maybe this drawing doesn't have them. So they should. This is so you should have, just like on your wall section, where you had that. See here they have upper, first floor, subfloor. You should have a little bubble there, half bubble that says 000, and up here it says 2456 or whatever, like it basically says the overall elevations. So that this drawing is missing that. I would suggest you put it on yours. But that's okay, so we're going to proceed. So to get from the subfloor to this subfloor is 2707.6. That doesn't sound right. Maybe what I'll do, I still have my wall section in here, so I'll just take it from here. Subfloor to subfloor, 2706. So almost the same. 2706 offset, and now that's the top of my second floor subfloor. Back to here. Wow, another crazy number. Okay, let's check our own drawing. So from the subfloor to, let's say, the bottom of the roof rafter, that would make sense. Two, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now I'm going to get the basement in. Basement has a bunch of measurements here. Maybe we know our drawing is correct, so we'll just trust our own drawing. So DI, top of subfloor to top of subfloor, 2592. Okay, so I'm going to offset this down. Okay, now we have a whole bunch of lines here, and it may very soon start to be difficult to comprehend and remember what's what. So I'm going to try to pare this down a little bit. So we know this is the chimney. Chimney goes right to the basement. So I'm just going to extend that down for now and trim all this extra stuff off. I'm not going to worry about the roof yet, but I'm going to come to the other side. And I know this wall, the wall of the house, goes to the basement. So I'll extend that down, get rid of that. The garage is just on the ground floor. So I'm going to basically let this box remain and kill all the stuff about it and put it aside. And then we can start to see, can we draw the outline of the roof? We should have enough information for that. And then we can start to see, can we find the footings, wherever they are, the foundations. And once we have that, we've got pretty much the outside of the cookie cutter shape done. And we can start moving inwards. So this is what I mean. Extend. I'm going to extend all of these guys down. Trim. This is gone. This is gone. Gone. Something like that. Okay, does that make sense? The spaces we have there? I'll show you back on the drawing if I haven't made a mistake. So this is the shape we have now. In fact, we have a little bit of an error here because I left this floor to be the same floor as the garage, and you can see that this floor is a little bit lower. So this would be, before we forget, this would be the right time to change that. So first things first, I'm going to go and see how much lower it is. It looks like it's 295 lower. So I'll go back to here. Trim just enough to separate that line. Grab it. Move. 295 down and extend. Okay, so we know that this is now, this top line is to, sorry, I'll turn this off. Okay, we know this top line is to the bottom of the rafter, and we do have some rafter stuff drawn here already. Okay, so we know that this line here, this is where we can save ourselves actually a good chunk of work, I think. I didn't realize it would be this efficient, so this could save you like 20 minutes. I don't know, if we do this right, even half an hour. Okay, this is what we're going to try to do. This is the inside of the structural wall, right? That's the stud going up, and that's where it ends. And so we have this point in our, this is the bottom of that joist. This is the top of that structural wall, so we kind of know where this exact corner is on our section. So technically, I might be able to copy all of this siding material, and even probably a good chunk of this, and bring it with me to the other drawing and plunk it down there. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to grab, let's take the drywall with it, why not? All of this, What detail level are they showing in our drawing? Do they show the... Oh, they have the chimney right there, so it may not be as useful, but we can use it on the other side. That's okay. So we're going to use it, we're going to do it anyway. We're going to grab all of this. Do they show the hatching on the insulation? Yes, they do. So we'll grab that as well. Okay, so I have all of this stuff selected. Copy. And I'm going to grab it right at the inside of that structural wall where it meets the bottom of the roof rafter. Copy. And let's go to our new drawing. We know that's right about here. But unfortunately we're at the chimney, and that makes things a bit messed up. So we have to do one more thing. I am going to just plunk it down here for a second and see what else we can do. No, that looks fine. This is 600 and that looks symmetrical to this, so I didn't have to do that. Okay, I'm going to pick it back up. Move all of this. Grab it from this point. This is getting kind of messy. Okay, my computer's freaking out here a little bit. Sorry. I don't quite have, because the chimney is here. You guys know what I'm trying to do? I thought that I would have my stem here. I forgot to get a chimney. So I can't line up the inside of this with the inside of that stem because I don't have it. But I can line up the outside of it with the outside of the brick on my chimney. That still works. My computer's going to get a bit glitchy doing that, so I apologize. But just bear with me. So from here to there, I think that's correct. Like so. And this line can go and become structural wood. Okay, so now we have half of our roof there. So what I can do is I can now say mirror. I can grab all of this stuff again. I'm going to unselect this line and unselect this line and unselect that line. And now I'm going to mirror it right in the middle, flip it. Do I want to delete the source? No. And I have this. And so now I should be able to say fillet, multiple, and I just start joining these lines together to construct my roof. Now you don't have to build the roof this way. This is a bit of a hack. You can kind of work your way through it the normal way, which is to find the slope and build it up piece by piece. But we've already done the work in a previous drawing, so why would we redraw it? Your time for yourself, but your time for an employer, if you're working at a company, is also going to be valuable. And so this is not like, there's nothing quote unquote cheating about this. You are using a higher level tool to copy and adapt something you've already drawn, and that's something you very much will use in the industry. That will be one of the measures by which people see how valuable you are. So in fact, the more you can do that, the better, the more productive of an employee you will be. So this is where we are at. Now this chimney is doing all kinds of stuff in here, and I can go and look at those details later, but for now I'm not going to mess with it. I think what I'm just going to do is this whole wall, we're cutting through it, is built different. Let me go back to our thing here. I've got some wood structure up here and stuff, so I'm just going to gut this whole thing that we drew here and just extend those troops to the length right out, and I'll fill in the brick stuff later. I think that's something we can leave till the end. So I'm going to simply extend this guy up Okay, I can look up the right distance after, I'm not going to worry about it. This guy is going to go up, and I'm just going to trim everything in between. And if I need to delete some stuff in between, I'll do that as well. The cladding on the outside will be different because it's exterior brick, so I'll knock that out. And actually, it said that that distance is 600, so let me see how big this is. 423. But I'm not sure if that's actually 600, because in our wall section we made it 423. So I'm going to assume that's correct. 423 is correct. Let me just try one more dimension. 460. So yeah, maybe what I would do in this case is I would simply extend this to here. Extend this to make the soffit slightly bigger in that area. And we move on. So we can work that detail out later. But we do have our roof in there. We can again work out the inside details later. I think what would make sense now is for us to look for the footings. And we may as well start with the outside one right here. So we know that at our exterior garage wall, which we have right now drawn up to here, we know that it transitions to concrete block, and it goes down to 1200 millimeters. Strange, and then there's the footing after that. I would say no, the footing is included in the code. Footing can be included in the code. So we're going to keep it in the We can get rid of one block if we want. So let's go ahead and do that. So the way I would draw this, here's our floor. Sorry, we have it to the finished floor interior. Correct. Yes, finished floor interior, and the concrete block switches 295 above. So no, so we need to offset 295 up, because right now we're going to the finish of the concrete floor. So the wall transitions here. And then our floor is, doesn't tell us, I'm going to assume it's 100 millimeters of concrete. So offset 100. And it gets cut approximately here. I don't think they have drywall on the inside of that garage, so I'm going to move it to here and get rid of our drywall. Does this make sense so far? So I know we have a gap here, but what I am showing, we can't zoom in and put on the front. So this wall comes down to here, it stops here. This is our floor coming in. And that gap that we have is that first concrete block. And then we're going to have one, okay, I see why they did the extra step now, because they're measuring to the house level, which is higher. The house floor is here, the garage floor is here. And so we need to make sure we're 1200 millimeters below the soil. That's where it stays warm enough for it. So 1200 from here isn't enough. That's why we need the address. Now it makes sense. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 concrete blocks and a footing. Does it give us the distance, the size of those blocks? Finished grade, minimal solid foot filled. So it's approximately the width of the wall. So my guess is it's a 200 millimeter concrete block, but let's see. Concrete block is either 200 or 300 millimeter. So we should be able to narrow it down. 200. So it's 2/16. So that's a 200 millimeter concrete block. And let's see what our concrete block in our wall section was. Maybe we can steal it from there. No, it's a little bigger, but some of it looks the same. So I think I'm going to save us some work. How deep are these blocks? Yeah, they're the right height. So I'm going to steal 2 of these guys and say Control V, Control C, Control C, Control V. Okay. Now I know I need to make them narrower, so I'm going to draw a line here. Copy it, or sorry, offset would be better, 200. Do you see how I'm not drawing everything from scratch? I'm stealing from our, stealing is the wrong word. I'm borrowing and modifying stuff that we've already drawn to make our life easier. So now I'm going to click this hatch and yank it back to that line. And then I'm going to grab the outline and do the same. And same thing goes for this. Concrete hatch as well. Yank it back. Okay. I can get rid of this line. I may need to fill in this little mortar gap here, like so. And now I'm ready to move this. So I'm going to grab it, move this whole thing. And I grabbed it by the wrong side, so I'm just going to dump it here for a second, because I don't need to align it by the inside. I need to align it by the outside. I think I need to align it to here. At least that's, yeah, that's what it looks like in the drawing. Okay, so we have this block with this block, and now I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4 more of these blocks, and then what looks like a 200 by 400 millimeter footing. So back to here, copy. Actually, I should grab the mortar joints with it, so those 2 little lines above. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I believe that footing is going to be about at 400 minus 200. Okay, that didn't work at all. There we go. Line this up. Remember to move it down 10 millimeters because we need a mortar joint between those 2 things. Okay. Hatch. I'm just going to throw in any old hatch. I don't care, because I'm going to match the properties. Make my life easy. So where's that paintbrush button? There it is. Concrete, done. So something strange happened here because our first block is way above and the second block is a bit lower. So I'm going to investigate that and see what's going on there. But otherwise this is done. And I'm not going to draw these little details in right now. I'm going to worry about that later. I have my concrete floor. I know how to offset it and show gravel, so those details can be filled in after. Right now we're doing the big moves. One more discrepancy as I mentioned before. These blocks, the mortar joint between them lines up with the concrete. And so that's kind of a, it's not an exact thing, but I can tell something is off there because see how ours is quite a bit higher? So if I check the distance from the top to the bottom, what do I have? 1400. and these guys are going from top, no, to the top of the, let me try this again. So from the first block to the bottom block is 1200, and that's what they have. So this distance is correct, but for some reason our floor is not lining up. So what I think that was actually happening is this floor is even lower than what I thought. See, we offsetted 295 down. Sorry, from here to here, 295 down. But then that concrete floor is even lower. Okay. So when do you find the elevation? Is that what is throwing us off? What's the distance between the top of this subfloor and our subfloor? Oops, 295. But if we move it even further down, it'll make the problem even worse. So no, this wall goes down to 295, okay? Okay, sorry, I'm messing up here a little bit. So, this is what I'm gonna do. If this happens, I would fix it like this. I would extend this line. That's the only line I know that makes sense, is this existing subfloor. And I know that this wall should continue down 295 past that floor level. I believe that's what they're saying in this drawing. So this is the floor level that we drew, and 295 down, this wall continues down. So my wall is in the wrong spot. I need to move everything down a little bit. Okay, move. So I'm going to move this down to here, and I'll fix the end of that floor here. I move that with it. Okay, and while I'm here, I'm going to extend the wall above it down as well, so I'm not forgetting to do that later on. Okay, so at least now we're sure that's correct. We're 100% sure that that's in the right spot. The floor itself is still wrong, but this now is correct. Now this looks like it's, no, like half between this block. So we know this floor, we're assuming it's I don't know, they're not giving it to us. Maybe they give it to us in another drawing, but we'll look back later. Let's assume this is a 100 millimeter thick floor. It looks like it's centered between those two blocks. So I believe it's going to be 25 millimeters above the bottom of that block. If that's 200 millimeters, I guess I'm going to guess it's 175 below this line. Maybe I should check to see if there's another drawing that shows it first, but no, there isn't. I don't think we did anything that shows it. So, offset 175. There. I'm going to delete this line. I'm going to take my floor and move it down to here. No, it should be 50 millimeters higher. Okay. Sorry, I shouldn't have done 175 offset. I should have done 150. So I need to move it 25 millimeters up. I know that's a bit confusing. Let me know if you want me to redo that. But I think that looks about right. Okay, we can get rid of this line now. Okay, we've drawn this. We have this floor drawn. And so now we need this wall right here. But hopefully you guys are starting to think the same way as I am. And so you already drawn this, right? You already have this. We'll draw it again. Let's go back to the other drawing, copy this. And actually, maybe before we copy it, we can mirror it and kill two birds with one stone. No, this wall is quite a bit different. So we're going to mess with that wall later. So let's just mirror it and plunk it right in there. So back to here, back to this guy, and actually I already have the floor drawn here as well, which is the same floor as this, and I have this, hold on, and I have this floor structure, which I have in here. No, but this one has brick on the outside, so let's not get crazy. That's going to be more work. It's more trouble than it's worth to copy and modify. We may want to draw that part again. So let's copy it up to the block with the mortar, the crosshatch block, and all of the insulation and everything that comes with it right down to the bottom, including the floor. So I'm going to grab all of this right up to here, and I'm going to grab this guy, and I may as well grab these levels. No. Yeah, I'll grab the bottom of the joist. Okay. Copy. First I'm just going to move it. Okay, I'm going to delete the notes. I don't want those there anymore. Now I need to mirror it, because we're going to be putting it in the other way. Okay, do I want to delete the source object? In this case, yes I do. I don't need this old version anymore. I want it mirrored, so I'm going to say delete. So now I have just the mirrored copy, and I need to be careful on how to line it up so I don't get caught by putting it in the wrong place. So let's look at our drawing here. We know for sure we have this structural line, the wood. The structural wood lines up with the structural joist, which lines up exactly with that concrete block. So if I extend this wood line down right to, now I need to find this line. That's 295 below this one. So I offset 295 down, and I extend this piece of wood down, and then put it in the top corner of that concrete. So from here, offset 295 down, and I want to connect this to here. Oops, I went one too far. To there. This line can be deleted. That's drywall. We don't need that. I'm going to trim everything below this. That's gone. Same thing here. Okay, and now I'm ready to move it in. So move, grab this whole thing, pick it by that corner block, okay, and dunk it right there. So, and that line, the reason I know it's right, or very close to being right, is because these floors lined up almost perfectly. I am how many millimeters off? I'm 3 millimeters off. You know what? If that happens to you in this assignment, let it go. Okay? So, we now have this footing, we've got this floor with this footing, which is really important, and we can stretch this line all the way to the other side to where the chimney is and finish off our floor. So what I'm going to do before that, it'd be nice if I could, just like I did up here, I kind of blocked off our problem with the chimney, right? There's a bunch of little details we need to add. We do some funny stuff with blocking here and here. We can fill those details in there. So I just blocked it off, and I said, whatever, and I said we'll deal with that later. So down here with the footing, I'm going to try to do the same thing. Just draw the outline of it without having to worry about the guts of it. So let's go back here. Now, we have the chimney profile from the first floor, and we have to be careful because it actually grows in the bottom floor. It gets thicker. but we can make sense out of it. This line seems to connect to the concrete block here, and then they're just offsetting it with what looks like 50 millimeters of rigid and a 2x4 stud. So, and actually, I don't think I even need to worry about this, because I'm going to take that concrete block line down all the way to here, and then just offset it 100 and give myself a footing. And then I can deal with this, you know, mumbo jumbo later. And then I can extend my floor in there. So back to here, I know these are the two lines that I'm dealing with. So I know the footing is at the same depth. So I'm going to grab a line here. So I'm at the same depth of footing, strike it across. May as well change to foundation wall layer, wherever that is. Exterior, okay. I'm going to copy the depth of that footing. Okay. Extend these guys down. Now I'm going to offset them 100 because the footing juts out 100 millimeters on either side. So I'm going to extend those guys, the outside lines down. And now it's just a trimming exercise. So those guys go, this is gone, that stays, gone, gone, gone. I can probably rationalize the colors here. Let's consolidate that a little bit. Wall exterior, sure. Okay. So now I've found my footing. Again, I can copy, I'm not going to worry about the roofing tile, this stuff, that's going to come in later. I trust you guys know how to start putting the details in. But now I can extend this floor all the way. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll mirror the way it connects, so I don't have to redraw the little sand and rubber. Remember all those little things we put at the end of the floor? You don't need to waste your time with that. So I'm going to draw a line from this corner to this corner, so I have a midpoint, and I'll mirror the floor from one side to the other, and then simply extend to connect the lines, and I'm done. And then I can, while I'm here, maybe I'll put this wall in, and now we have pretty much the outside of the whole house done. We can start to move in and do the floors. So let's get that last step done. What I meant before, the mirroring idea, is I'm going to go from the corner of this foundation, footing, to this corner, and this is a temporary line. I'm not going to keep this line, but the reason I put it there is so I can now mirror. I can mirror this gravel, I can mirror my floor, the sand, this little rectangle here. I don't have to mess around and draw it again. And you know what? Heck with it. I'm going to mirror this stud wall as well, because I have a stud wall on the other side. I may need to move it a little bit to put in that insulation, but that's going to be easier than drawing it from scratch. So now here, mirror. Do I want to delete the source? No, I want that to stay. And here is my other wall. And now I can simply draw a line here, down, and extend. So extend all of these lines, grab the hatch, and pull it to the other side. Okay, and always remember to delete your temporary lines. If you don't do it as you're going, you're going to forget. At least I do. And now I have that last bit. So here's my wall. And in the drawing, you'll notice it's almost the same, but it has that 50 millimeter, which I'm going to assume is 50 millimeters of insulation in there. Actually, this is 89 millimeters, so that's much smaller. That's only 25 millimeters of insulation. It's either 25, 50, 75, usually 25 millimeter increments. So I'm going to pull this 25 millimeters out to give myself room for insulation later on. So move, grab this guy, move it 25 this way, done. put a line in. Match it to this. And so I don't forget that that's rigid insulation. I wonder if I can copy something. Did we have any 25mm rigid? This looks pretty good. What's this? That's 25, so I'm going to steal that. That's mine now. Copy. Base point here. Done. I may need to adjust the top. It's a little bit high. Grab the grip, pull it down. I don't know exactly how that joint is going to work out yet, but there we go. So, now in terms of our house, we're looking pretty good. It's starting to make sense. We've got a roof. We have all of our exterior walls in. We've got all of our footings done. The last little thing I need to figure out is how this roof here works. And then the next thing we're going to start doing is figuring out the anatomy or the sandwich level of that floor. Okay, because we know it has a certain depth. We know there's some drywall, some other stuff. It's important that we get that thickness, that sandwich of materials right. Then basically we're done. Like we need to put in some walls in the middle. You can line. I trust you guys know how to line those up later. I trust you know how to add notes, how to add some, details in the chimney. But basically we're done after that. The hard stuff is all done. So I'm going to go and try to figure out, the last thing I'm going to do is try to figure out this roof over here. And this one's a bit tricky. They don't give you a lot of info. They're not giving us much info about how much this juts out. They don't tell us much here. They do tell us that above here it's 2, 4, 5, 6 to get to the bottom of the roof. Those are the roof joists. Okay, so I'm just going to start off. See, this one you have to draw. You can't really copy. So from the interior house floor level, we need to go 2, 4, 5, 6 up. Okay, so once again, I'm going to extend this line here. Offset 2, 4, 5, 6. There. Then it goes 250 up for the inside, for the structural wall on the inside. Okay, interesting. So what they're saying is essentially the brick stops here at this level, but your stud wall continues up to here. So this is a wood wall. We should change the layer so we don't forget. What happened? Is there 2 lines over top? No. Okay. Interesting. There. Okay. So we have the top of this. This can get, well, let's keep it for a second, those lines. Now, the next thing is our parapet, sorry, not our parapet, our soffit comes out here. We don't quite know how far that is. But since it was 600 for the rest of it, actually, this look approximate. Yeah, whatever. So we'll copy this one, bottom part of it, and we'll just put it right in there. And then we have to change the slope going up. That's all. Back to our drawing. I think these lines can get trimmed down a bit just so we can make a bit more sense out of this drawing. Okay. Just Just need to put a 2x4 at the top there so we don't forget. We'll probably steal one from here. Rotate it 90 degrees. There we go. And now we want to copy. Do we want the siding as well? No, we just have a brick siding. Okay. So we're going to copy this part, but not this. Copy, and I think this lines up with our brick. Something like that. That doesn't look right. So this is slightly higher up. Okay, so we're having a little bit of a problem here, which is that we know that this is the right height because we went exactly 250 more. So we increase the height of that. The brick ends too low. Actually, I capped the brick here, so the brick goes a little bit higher arbitrarily. So it doesn't give us that distance, so let's make it half of 250. So let's say it goes up 125. That'll make our life a bit easier. Move. I'm going to grab all of this and the top of the brick and move it up 125. Yeah, that looks a bit better now. So I'll extend this stuff to rejoin it. Sorry guys, I know this is tedious. I'm probably losing everybody here, but let's say we go this far. Let me zoom out a bit. Okay. So let's go. How about we do this? Let me know if you can. If this sounds okay to you. I'm going to draw. We're basically done here. I'm going to correct the slope. Draw this roof. You can quickly throw in these refractors, and then if I can take you guys as far as kind of, you don't have to draw the little X's and joists and stuff, but just getting the from the top subfloor to the bottom of the joist and the joist drawn for each floor, and the bottom chord of the roof, which you may already have that. So bottom line is just these two floors and maybe the bottom of the roof. If we can make it to there today, we're in really good shape in this drawing. Is that okay? Okay. Then what I'll trust you guys to do with after that is to start to fill in the details. Just on the section. Not on the stair section or the detail or anything else in the other parts of the drawing. But just drawing in the X's, putting in notes, tags, things like that. I trust you can populate the drawing with the rest of the stuff. Here, just improvise. Again, you're not very unlikely you're going to be designing a chimney from scratch. They're usually prefabricated units, and so there's very little dimensions provided in here. So just eyeball it. Just draw what you think is closest. Okay. So don't spend a lot of time on the chimney unless you know what's going on. So here you know these are 200 by 200 concrete blocks. These blocks look similar to those blocks, so maybe you can copy it. But again, don't spend. We've already blocked the chimney in, so just fill in the details by eye. So you don't lose too much time there. Okay, so this is a 1-in-3 slope. I'll show you what I mean. Sorry, let's get rid of that. So here, for every 1 it goes up, it goes 3 over. So let's just try that, but I'm going to make the number bigger. I'm going to say 1,000 and 3,000. Let's see what slope we have. And I'll connect the lines. There we go. It looks pretty much the same as what we already have. Is the other roof 1-in-3 as well? Yes, it is. Okay, so we don't have to change anything. This slope is fine. I can simply extend the line we have here, the inside, the other side of that. Oops, come on. There we go. So now we have that thickness of that wood member there. Now we just have to pick a height for this roof. It's not really giving us one. Where is this roof? Maybe we can look at the elevation. I'm going to go ahead and look at the elevations. I think that might make some sense out of this. Okay, so we are cutting through the house this way. And so we're cutting through an arbitrary spot, and this roof starts at a low point and it comes up to a ridge and then comes down. And so we're slicing through an arbitrary part of where it's coming up. I'm not sure this distance actually matters very much on that drawing. The height that the roof is showing is the thing that really matters is the spacing of those joists, the ceiling, the roof rafters, and the height of this roof will be shown in the other section. That's where we determine that thing. So it would be nice if they gave us a dimension in that drawing, but they don't. So we're just going to go with it. Or what we could do, this is actually how we could do it. So we know that if we offset 600 millimeters, hold on, is this going to help us? So if we offset 600 millimeters out from here and out from here, that's how wide the roof of the garage is. So now from here, if we need to replicate that slope, so 1,000 up, 3,000 over. What happened? Okay. I'm just drawing a small diagram here that'll actually tell me what height the roof is at, exactly where we cut. So the height of the roof at that point where we cut should be 1,307. I can explain that in more detail if anybody wants, but just so I don't bore everyone to death, I'm just going to go ahead and punch that in. So from here where the slope starts, offset 1,307. That's the top of our roof. Okay, delete, offset. So this is how much? Is that plywood? Sorry. This is plywood, it's 12.5. Okay, so offset 12.5. that's it. We just need to draw the very last rafter here. It's tough to see what structural member that is. So we managed to get to this corner here. I guess I'll just measure this. That'll tell us what this is. We can assume the rest of that. And down here it looks like, well, it's 250. So that is a 2 by 10? No, whatever, we'll make it 250. It might be a custom size. So to draw this, we first measure the distance. Okay, it's not giving me the perpendicular. That's what I want. Okay, 140. So I know that this is going to be at 38 by negative 140. Move that into there. Trim this. I'll put that on the wood layer. Okay. I'm going to copy this down so I don't have to redraw it. Save myself a bit of time. To this line. Okay. Let's extend this for a second. Hold on, where does these guys start at 250 below that structural wall ending. So no, this is from here. Nothing is going on there. Okay. Okay. Sorry, one more time. From here, 250 millimeters down is where the bottom of that should be. So that goes there. This stretches up to be 250 tall. These guys follow. Okay, this can get deleted, I believe. Maybe not, I should have left the bottom line, and then they get attached with a line. Okay, so this happens. Let's go to our wood layer. Okay, so we have this guy in. Now since you know this is 250, if we were to lie it down, it's almost the full distance between us. I would say these are close to 300 on center. So now we can simply just copy these 300 on center all the way down until we get to the other side. In fact, I'll extend this first. What do we have on the other side? Simply finishes with insulation, it looks like, and plywood. So the finish under here, we can trim that. What is going on here? offset 12.5. So I believe this gets clad with insulation once it gets below the roof level here. Sorry, with plywood. Trim here, and that's the detail. This goes all the way down to 250 millimeters above the garage floor. So offset, sorry, it's not 250, it is 295. No. It lines up with the bottom of the garage floor. Okay, sorry. So the finish of that wall lines up with the bottom of the garage exterior wall. Which I guess is here. Yes. So I'll extend this line. I'll extend this finish down. I'll stretch the insulation. Okay, so that's extended down. Now I know where my roof finishes. It finishes here, and so now I can copy these guys. Now I know how far I need to copy these guys at 300 on center. So I'll copy one to start with, 300, and now I can do that leapfrog thing we did with the bricks before. And if I get tired of doing that, maybe I'll just copy a whole bunch at once and leapfrog with that. Did it shut down? Okay, sorry guys. I'll log in again here. What happened? Two 7224. Okay, sorry, it's back. Okay, that's the computer telling me to wrap it up as well. Okay, let's do one more copy here. I think I can fit two more in. Maybe not, maybe just one more. All right, done. These guys copy the other way as well. So I'm just going to grab a whole bunch and move them this way, and then I'll show you how I'll trim them in a second. Like so, trim, and I'm simply going to trim along this rafter line here and delete the excess. Okay, done. This can extend all the way out to here, and I'm assuming they have drywall underneath there, so I'll offset it by 16. There we go. Okay, that was a tricky part of the house, but the garage is done. So now what we can do, the last thing I wanted to do with you guys is just block these floors in, because that's the last place where this can go south if you don't do it correctly. So I think we do know where this floor is. We have the top of the subfloor. We know that it's 235 in thickness, so we're going to go 12.5 millimeters down for plywood, 235 for the joist, and then 16 millimeters for the drywall finish on the bottom. Hold it, what are we doing here? How is this? Oh, right, okay. So we decided to do something fancy, but that's on top of the subfloor. Okay, I'll leave that for other class to explain. This is a very unusual thing. It's called a radiant heated floor. I'll give you a better explanation in the next class, so I don't bore you with it now. I don't think this is the correct way to do it, but since we are showing it, I'll introduce you to the correct way of doing it. But in the interest of not putting everyone to sleep, let's leave that for next class. Okay, so we know this is our top of our subfloor. I'm going to trim it to get rid of this chimney portion, and let's start offsetting. So offset 12.5, that's our subfloor. Offset 235, this is our joist. Okay, and we came very close to where we were supposed to be, which is here. What's going on here? DI, come on. We are 9.5 millimeters off. I think we're going to live with it. So we're simply going to move our wall up to meet the bottom of that floor. Done. We can get rid of this guy, I think. I'll connect this wall up here, so this is now finished, this corner detail. Okay, I trust you guys know how to finish that. I don't need to show that to you. Offset 16 more millimeters for the drywall. Fillet. Sorry, what is this? 12 millimeter drywall? How come this is so thin? 13. Okay, fine. So it's half-inch drywall. Offset 13 millimeters for drywall. Fillet. Done. And we can set the layers later on. There we go. Okay, so that's the sandwich, or kind of the layers for that first floor, and you're going to have to adjust this side to match that. And what I mean is this: so basically we've made a decision to raise this wall a little bit higher to meet it here, so you need to adjust this up as well, so it's consistent. And then knock out this piece of drywall here, delete, fillet it with the other side. There. Okay, so that floor is good. Now we can offset the next floor. So 270, we took it from our section actually. You know what, maybe that's why we're off by a few millimeters, because that student section, the example is a little bit different, and we're going according to our wall section, which is correct. We should be trusting our previous work. So 2706, okay. So I'm simply going to grab this whole floor and go up to 270, shoot, copy 2706. There we go. That's our next floor, and we will worry next class about little details like showing how to anchor into the wall and stuff like that. Or you can just go by eye and figure it out, how these different details work. I trust you already know that. But we'll cover it together next class. Very quickly, before we get into, we'll spend maybe 10% of next class cleaning up details in this drawing. So I'll leave the small stuff to you, okay? So the labels, the dimensions, doing this kind of bridging. Basically what you're doing is just a structural piece of wood, so 235 by 38 is an X, you've done that 100 times. and then just 2 by 2, so 38 by 38 strapping or bracing between it. Draw it once, spend 2 minutes on it, draw it correctly once, and then just copy the heck out of it all the way across. So don't spend too long on it. It looks like a lot of detail, but make it easy. Do it once, copy it right through. Putting things like railings, this central wall, I think you guys can do all of that. We'll do some of it together, but I trust you to do that. The stair, draw it in the best you can for now, because it's less important that it looks, that these lines are all perfect in this drawing. It's more important that they are perfect in this drawing. Okay, so just block it in by eye if it doesn't show you the distances, and here is where we're going to actually get everything to perfectly line up. So this may look like a lot, but it's not. It's all about getting a couple of stairs drawn correctly, and then again we copy it all the way up. And the way we check our work is that the floor-to-floor heights have to line up perfectly, and then we know we're fine. And once we have that drawing, the detail on the side is very simple. You just simply copy 3 stairs and add a bit more hatching and detail to it, and you're done. So I'll leave it at that. Sorry, this was a more intense class than usual, but we got most of the drawing done. So I'm going to end the video there as well.